In tabletop hidden trader games, the mechanics are simple. You sit around a table with your friends, trying to complete an objective, but someone at the table is secretly working against you. The true terror comes from the sudden inability to trust the people you know best. In 1982, director John Carpenter took this primal psychological fear and scaled it up into a $15 million Hollywood production called The Thing. Upon release, reviewers eviscerated it. Critics called the movie instant junk and a wretched excess. It struggled at the box office, dropping out of the top 10 in just 3 weeks. The timing was terrible. Unemployment was soaring, and people were living through a grinding economic recession. Audiences were flocking to the optimistic escapism of movies like E.T. They explicitly rejected Carpenter's grim, paranoid nightmare. Those same elements, the deep cynicism and intense anti-authoritarian streak, are exactly why the film was eventually selected for preservation in the National Film Registry. To understand why its reputation shifted so radically, we have to look at how Carpenter engineered that atmosphere from the ground up. Carpenter knew that to make the audience feel the weight of that paranoia, the characters had to be completely cut off from the outside world. There could be no hope of escape. To capture that isolation on screen, the production traveled to a remote coastal town on the border of British Columbia and Alaska. The crew had to drive 27 miles up treacherous, icy mountain roads every day just to reach the exterior outpost sets. When filming moved to the interior sets in Los Angeles, the crew didn't get to thaw out. To ensure the freezing conditions looked real, these sound stages were artificially refrigerated down to 28 degrees Fahrenheit in the middle of summer. The temperatures were so low that camera lenses would freeze and shatter. Inside this frozen box, director John Carpenter placed an entirely male ensemble cast. By stripping away romantic subplots and keeping the roster strictly blue-collar and isolated, the characters had no external reasons to posture or perform for one another. The grueling conditions forced the actors out of their comfort zones, removing the need to act cold or tired. By capturing the ensemble's ragged breath and visible shivers, Carpenter ensured the audience saw the physical toll of the environment instead of a mere performance. But a trapped crew still needs a threat. Carpenter's only strict mandate for the alien was that it could not look like a man in a rubber suit. He handed the problem to a 21-year-old special effects artist named Rob Bottin. Bottin decided the creature should be a constantly shifting mass at a glush that could imitate anything it touched. The creature's biology dictates the horror. One character gets infected, and they perfectly imitate the original, secretly spreading to the rest of the group. The victims being absorbed don't even realize they have been taken over. Executing this concept required labor, using melted bubblegum, mayonnaise, and rubber to build the practical effects. Bottin worked so relentlessly that he lived on the Universal lot for over a year, eventually suffering double pneumonia and a bleeding ulcer from the sheer exhaustion. The result of Bottin's suffering is a formless entity that destroys your ability to trust your own eyes. Because the creature can look like anyone or anything, every visual detail on screen becomes a potential threat. Screenwriter Bill Lancaster condensed the original source material, collapsing 37 characters down to a focused ring of 12. This is the exact upper limit for an audience to track shifting allegiances, allowing viewers to mentally manage the web of suspicion. This tight tracking pays off in the famous blood test scene. The characters use a heated wire on petri dishes of their own blood, forcing a physical, high-stakes reaction to prove who is still human. Lancaster's script functions as a lethal stress test. It systematically applies pressure to each node in the group until the bond of loyalty finally snaps under the weight of the evidence. That escalating tension caused a massive fight over the final edit. Test audiences strongly rejected the ambiguity of the ending, demanding clear answers about who survived. Universal executives heavily pressured Carpenter to use a happier alternate take. They wanted McReady rescued by a helicopter and given a blood test to prove his humanity. Carpenter refused to compromise. He restored his original, nihilistic conclusion, where the 2 remaining survivors sit in the burning ruins of their camp, slowly freezing to death while sharing a bottle of scotch. It was a choice that cost him at the box office, but paid off years later when audiences rediscovered the film on video. The Thing endures as a masterpiece of the genre because it commits entirely to that bleakness. It leaves you with the creeping, inescapable dread that you can never truly know or trust the people sitting right next to you.